Ho, 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 ho!
Hello everyone and very welcome to the video. Today we will be talking about how to package applications in a modern way for Microsoft Intune. But before we dive into the steps and how-tos, there are some things we need to be in place, and that is the first thing is if you have a basic understanding of PowerShell. It's not a must, but if you have had some interactions with PowerShell as a scripting language before, it is going to be much more easier for you to follow the video and understand what we will be doing. And the second thing is if you have admin privileges on your computer, because the components of the toolset that we will be using will need some admin privileges while we will package the application and test it. The third thing is the toolset, the toolkit itself, and it is called PS App Deployment Toolkit. This is a very popular application packaging toolkit that a lot of you maybe already have heard of. And the fourth thing we will be needing is Microsoft Win32 Content Prep Tool. So without further ado, let's go ahead and download these two applications. So I'm going to just copy this, open my browser and paste it here and then search for it. They have a website. I'm just going to click on that. So on the website, I'm just going to click on the kitty symbol here, and then it's going to take me to GitHub. In GitHub, I'm just going to choose the latest on the right side here. Click on this, and then I'm going to right click on the latest version, save link as. I'm going to choose this in C. I'm going to create a new folder, app packaging, and then save it here. Then we are going to need even this tool. I'm just going to copy this, open a new tab, paste it here. And you can see even this is on GitHub and this is totally free too. So I'm going to click on this. The same thing here on the latest, here on the right side, I'm going to click this, check the source code, right click on that, save link as, and then save it in the same directory and save. Okay, now that out of the way, we are going to go into the folder we just created. We need to unblock this zip file. So I'm going to right click on this and then properties, unblock, apply, OK, and then the same thing with this, unblock, OK. So let's go ahead and extract our content prep tool and then go ahead and extract our PS App Deployment Toolkit and take a look inside what we have extracted. If you double click on this, you have this structure of files. So first we have a folder here called App Deployment Toolkit. You can see there are 8 files here. And then if you go ahead and open the files folder, it's empty. The same thing with support files, it's empty. And then we have 3 files here, one exe, one config file, and one ps1 file. That is our PowerShell. So first thing first, inside this folder, let's go ahead and just delete these files. We are not going to need them. Let's go ahead inside toolkit, check this, cut, then just paste them here and then delete this folder. So now we have them directly inside our PS App Deployment Toolkit folder. That out of the way, let's go ahead and open our App Deployment Toolkit folder. When we open this, there is an XML file that we need to configure. And I will tell you what we need to configure in here. So once you open the XML file, this is how it's going to look like. I am using Visual Studio Code with the Dracula theme, and it's pretty sick. I like it very much. So here we need to change our log path for our application. I'm going to change this to another directory. So I'm going to open my file explorer here in Windows, go to C drive. This is a hidden folder. Usually the users don't see this folder. So Let's go ahead and open this folder, program data, and then go ahead and open a new folder here, create a new folder here, and call it demo log. And we will be creating another folder inside, call it win32. So we will be using this folder to store our win32 application log. And what it means that when the user will be installing the application, and if something goes wrong or everything is successful, this is where the logs are going to be stored. So if we want to change this to another directory, we don't want to use the absolute path. It's not a good practice to have the absolute path in your script. Instead, we can try to look for this path in C program data and have a variable where it finds in every Windows machine this path. So if we go to the PS App Deployment Toolkit's website and go to References up here and then choose Variables. From here, if we try to find that path, there should be a variable for this absolute path. So it found one, and that's not it. So it's here. The variable is called environment program data. This variable is what we need to replace our absolute path with. So I'm going to just go ahead and copy this, come to our XML file and paste it here. And then I'm going to copy rest of the directory path here, copy this, and then paste it here. Why I do copy pasting when I'm coding, it's very important because you can always mistype. So it's a good practice to copy and paste everything that you do for parts and other things that are like this. So with that said, let's save this XML file, go to File and Save and close this. Okay, after you have saved your XML file, let's go ahead and have a look at the main script for our application packaging. So let's have Visual Studio Code run as administrator, click on yes. Let's go ahead and open the folder with our toolkit in it and select that folder, select folder and open deploy application.ps1. This is how it's going to look like. Don't get intimidated by it. I'm going to explain it to you very clearly what we need to do. Here you can see the variables that will be used for installing the application. There is the app name, which application we are going to package. We have not decided that yet. Do not change any of these and just, as they say here, do not modify section above. Here is our if statement that's called if deployment type is not uninstall and deployment type is not equal to repair, then go ahead and start with the pre-installation phase. So this is the default. We are we are going to keep it simple. We do not need to do any pre-installation tasks here. So I'm just going to choose this part and delete it because it says here perform pre-installation tasks here. So if we are going to do anything ourselves, we are going to put it here in between these two lines here. And here is our installation phase. So they have already some default values even here. This is for the zero config MSI. We are not going to talk about it in this video. But absolutely, if you guys need in the future videos, perform installation tasks here. So if we need to install our application, this is where we are going to insert our code or write our code. So we are going to remove this. Further down, this is post installation. Once the installation is done, what you want to do, And even here, they have some default already. We are going to choose to delete that. And there is an else if statement. It says if it is equal to uninstallation. So what happens if you uninstall, if you call this phase of the script? Even there, they have some example. We are going to remove them. And then, of course, you can do some tasks here. And then uninstallation, when it's going to uninstall the application, we are going to even remove that because that's just an example or default values. Even for the repair part, they have some example and values. We are going to choose to remove that. And for the repair, even that we are going to remove, because we want to keep it clean and simple. If we are not going to use any of those codes where we don't need them, we can just remove them, and that's not needed for this tutorial or video. So we can just keep our code simple. But we are going to leave this here in case in the future we are going to use it or modify our application. So with that done, you can see it looks a lot better. So let's go ahead up here and choose our app name. So what are we going to package today? But before we choose which application we are going to package today, we need to save this file because we have done some changes. So I'm going to have and save this. Let's just take a random application. We can go with the VLC media player. That is pretty common application. Let's go search for VLC media player. Let's go ahead in their website and download the exe file. There we go. After we have downloaded the exe file for VLC, we can go ahead and copy this and paste it into our PS App Deployment Toolkit folder. And this is going to be into the files folder. So we can go ahead and paste it here and rename it into setup.exe just to keep it simple. Next, we can actually go ahead and change. Let's go ahead and we have already saved this. Let's go ahead and close Visual Studio, go up one directory, and let's go ahead and change this into VLC, because this is the application we will be packaging. So let's go ahead and open Visual Studio Code again, open our folder because we changed the name, application, VLC, and just open. So let's go ahead and jump right back into this file that we had opened before. And the app name is going to be VLC Media Player. And then you can even fill the other parameters if you want to, but we are going to leave it as it is. I'm just going to fill my name here. And then the installation title or install name, we're just going to use a title of VLC Media Player here. So once we have done that, let's go ahead and have a look at a file inside the VLC folder that we renamed here. Let's have a look at the file that is called App Deploy Toolkit help.ps1. Let's go ahead and right click on this, run with PowerShell. So here, once you do that, you can see here that is all the functions here that is included in the toolset. They are thoroughly explained here with examples at the end. So this is perfect. We want to run an exe file, so we want to execute a process. And for that, we have an example here. So what we are going to do is we are just gonna go ahead and copy one of these examples, come back to our deploy application script, go to the installation phase. We're just gonna go ahead and enter here and paste it here. Now we have pasted this, but what if I want to, like, say, what if I want to call a function here without copy pasting from the help file? If I call execute process, it's coming, but if I say execute MSI, this is not giving me any IntelliSense. So what we can do in order to autofill our IntelliSense, we need to go into the App Deploy Toolkit folder, click on App Deploy Toolkit main.ps1, open that, and run this. So that's it. Once we have done that, you can just go ahead and close that window. Now, if we type execute, it is going to autofill our IntelliSense. So get shortcut, and then you can just tap it to autofill for you. And then it's going to suggest other things for you. But that's how you can call a function for and have IntelliSense telling you what are available inside the toolkit. Okay, now let's go ahead and modify our line of code to execute what we want to, because this is not, the path is not correct. So per default, when you want to execute an exe file or run an exe file and you type the path, the script is smart enough to just go ahead and look at inside this folder that's called files. So if you put your installation files or installation media inside this folder, and you do not give any, or you do not write anything inside the path, but the name of the exe or the installation file, the toolkit is going to automatically look at that. So the path for exe or execute process is inside the files folder. You just need to write the name of the exe file. And then we have a parameter for the installation of the exe, and then the Windows style. We can just go ahead and even remove this because Intune is going to suppress it anyway, just to keep our code clean. Remove this parameter here. Let's just go ahead and run our code and let's see if it works. So run selection. Yes, it calls the exe, it opens it up. So this code works. Now we want to do a silent installation. Let's go ahead and execute process, parameters, and use the switch S. S in this case means silent, of course, as you have already figured it out. So I don't know if it's the right parameter for the setup of VLC media player. Every exe file has some kind of a standard to use S as a silent, but not every one of them. That is going to be another topic we will be looking at in another video. So let's go ahead and run this code. Run selection, and let's go ahead and see here executing C app packaging VLC file setup.exe with a parameter of S. So it says execution completed successfully with exit code 0. 0 exit code means that it executed successfully. Let's go ahead and see if it installed VLC media player in silent mode. So let's go ahead and you can see that VLC is installed. That's good. It means that our code is working. Now that we have installed our application successfully with the help of this toolkit, and we know that everything is working, we need to figure out how to uninstall the application. We need to find where this application is installed. So we can go ahead and open a new tab here, go to C, let's just randomly look into the program files 86 and VLC, yeah, video LAN, I think it's VLC, and here you have an exe called uninstall.exe. So this is the uninstallation file for the VLC, and it is located into this directory. So as we did with the C program data folder, we do not want to use the absolute path. So we are going to try to find a variable for this path. Just gonna go ahead and copy this, open my web browser, go to the variable page of the PS App Deployment and find C program files. And this is the variable we are looking for. This is C program files 86, and that's exactly what we need. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this, open our script, and come to the uninstallation part here, perform uninstallation tasks here. I'm gonna just go ahead and paste this here. We are going to execute a process, exe process, and path for that is this bad boy here. I'm just gonna cut it, paste it here, and then I am going to copy the rest of the path, video LAN, VLC, and then there we are looking for a file that is called uninstall.exe. I'm gonna just copy the name here, the whole name, and paste it here. And of course the parameters that we used before is silent, like this. So we can either run this code here, or let me just clear my screen here, or we can call this deploy application .ps1 script, and then from there we can call a deployment type and set it to uninstall. So we are going to call our deploy application.ps1, and deployment type is going to be uninstall. When we type it like this, what it does is it's going to call this part of the script. So if we just hit enter on that one, hopefully it will work. So let's go ahead and see if it uninstalled VLC Media Player. It is still here. Yeah, it didn't work. So let's have a look at our log, console log here, and you can see that deployment type is uninstallation, bypassing closed installation progress, mode silent, and it seems like the installation type or mode is not calling our function execute process with this path. Let's go ahead and save this file. I think that's what is the problem here, and run this again. Now it's gone. Let's go ahead and close our deploy application file and go to our folder with the application in it. But remember, we didn't use this folder. we didn't use this file, the exe file, deploy application.exe, and we didn't use deploy application.exe config file. I'm gonna highlight these 3 files and folders that we do not need just for this application. Remember, just for this application specifically. In other videos, I'm going to go through all these 3 files and what they are needed for, what they are used for. But we will be talking about that another time. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete these 3. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and create a folder here and call that output. I will tell you in a bit why we need this folder. Let's go ahead inside our Microsoft Win32 content prep tool. You can see there is an exe file here. Let's go ahead and open our command prompt with run as administrator and click on yes. Let's zoom in a little bit, clear our screen, go back to our source folder, or sorry, go back to our Intune content prep folder. Let's cd into that folder and clear our screen, and let's call our Intune Win App exe file. After that, go ahead and just copy the source folder and copy the path to the install file. Output folder is going to be here, and let's choose no. Now now it says done here, and it has, if you see inside this folder, it is created. It has created a file that's called Intune vlc.intunewin. This is the file we are going to upload to Intune and then distribute it to our end users. So let's go ahead and open Intune or log into Intune. And the address for that is intune.microsoft.com, I think. So there we go. Let's close this. Okay, now we are inside Intune. Let's go to our apps. We are going to deploy a Windows app, so we are going inside that, and we are going to add a new app. App type, we are going to choose Win32. That is what we packaged, that is what we modified, and select. We are going to select a package file, select a file. This is where you choose the file from the output folder that we earlier created. VLC, no, sorry, it was in output here. Okay, so we are going to give it a name, and we are going to call it VLC Media Player. Edit the description here. Same thing, VLC Media Player. Click on OK, and then publisher is Video if I remember correctly. App version is what we are going to need next. So if we want to type that, we can go ahead and go to our download folder and go to programs, properties, details. There is no file version here, but we can see here in the name, it is this version of the app. We are going to copy that and paste it here. Category, we are going to choose, let's say, photos and media. Yes, show this as featured app information. I'm not going to put any URL to any website or anything. It's going to be maybe a security risk or anything if the user clicks on and go into that website. Developer owner, notes, and logo. We are going to go ahead and find a logo for VLC Media Player. go ahead and click on images. I'm just gonna choose this one, right click on it, save image as, go to the folder of app packaging, VLC, and just save it here. And then I'm gonna come back here, select image, select a file, app packaging, VLC. This is our logo. Okay, now this looks pretty okay to me, so we are going to click on next. Here it's going to ask us for our install command and uninstall command. So for the install command, we use PowerShell, a PowerShell file to install the application. So we are going to write PowerShell. So it's going to start PowerShell as with no profile. And then we are going to set the execution policy to bypass. And the file we are going to call is the installation file for the VLC. It's called install vlc.ps1. That's the file we are going to call. And then we are just going to go ahead and copy this and paste it into uninstall command. But here we are going to add a deployment type. Deployment type is uninstall. As I explained earlier in the video, we are going to call this file, and inside this file we are going to call this function that's going to uninstall our application. So the next one is allow available uninstall. This is pretty powerful if you want to give the uninstall option to your users, so they can go ahead and uninstall the application by themselves instead of calling your service desk or making or creating a ticket. So they can just go ahead and uninstall the app when they don't need it anymore. Next one is device restart behavior. Here I'm just going to choose no specific action, just to protect my end users from being shut down or their system being restarted just without any warning or notice, because some apps can cause that. So no specific action, and leave the rest of it as default and click on next. Requirements. So operating system architecture, we are going to choose both of them. Minimum operating systems, we are going to choose Windows 10, let's say 2004, just that, and then click on next. Rules. Configure app specific rules used to detect presence of the app. Yeah, so that is something we need to look into. Let's choose manually configure detection rules. Okay, so with the VLC media player installed on our system, let's go ahead and get a detection method. For that, let's go ahead and open command prompt, type PowerShell, clear our screen, go ahead and type get VMI object win32 underscore product, and pipe it to table. We want to get the name, and we want to get the identifying number. Let's go ahead and hit enter. It's going to go ahead and find all the installed applications on this system. So let's go ahead and look for VLC media player. VLC media player is not on the list. What this means is the VLC media player does not have a product code or an MSI string or a GUID. So we cannot set the detection rule using the MSI GUID, which is the easiest way to do, of course. So we are going to go the hard way. We can look in the registry. So in the registry, we are going to find VLC if it is installed in the system, if it has any registry keys that we can set as a detection rule for Intune. So let's go to local machine, software, and let's find VLC if it is here. It is not here. Let's go and have a look at these keys. I can see right here, video LAN is here. So let's go and expand that, click on the VLC key. So we can see that VLC media player has created some registry keys under this directory here in the registry. We can go ahead and choose this key as a detection rule for VLC media player. We can even create our own detection rule in the PS App Deployment Toolkit, but that is going to be in another video. I want to keep this video pretty simple and basic. So we can take this key under this directory here. So we are going to copy this path in the registry and go ahead here, add a type of registry. The key path is here. The value name is going to be this value here, install dir. Going to copy that and paste it here. And the detection method is going to be if the value exists. So what it means that if this value here in the registry exists, it means that the application is installed. That's how Intune is going to know. So let's click on next. We don't have any dependencies. Next. We do not want to precedence this app. Next. Go ahead and click on next and create the application. And now you can see that the application has uploaded successfully to Intune. Since we didn't assign any group or any user to the application, we are going to go ahead and do that now. Let's go ahead and click on properties, scroll down here and edit on the assignments and add available for enrolled devices. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I have already created a group that is called demo users and devices. Select that, review, save. So now we have deployed our applications to this group. Okay, so finally we have packaged our app and deployed it to our end users and devices via Intune. So let's go ahead and log into our device with the user that got the app published to them. So let's go ahead and log in. Here, let's go ahead and open company portal. And you can see that our published app is here in the company portal. If we click on it, we can see the information, the logo, and everything that we have put in Intune. So let's go ahead and just click on install and test the installation. Okay, now we can see that the application is installed successfully. Let's do a sync here, a manual sync, and try an uninstallation. So it's going to take some time for the uninstallation to be here because we just installed the app. So you can restart the device and do a sync. Okay, after the application is installed, we can go ahead and test even if it is going to get uninstalled successfully. So we are going to click on uninstall here. And and we can see that the uninstallation was successful. We can go ahead even and look at the logs of the installation. So go ahead and show the hidden files. We did create a folder with the installation log here that is called demo log Win32, and we can see two files here. One is for the installation of the app, and one is for the uninstallation. So if we look at this file, it's going to be a very clean and good log of course I opened it in Notepad, so it's not very pretty, but if you open it in CMTrace or any other log viewing program, you are going to get a very clean, good log. You can see here what has happened during the app installation. Okay, now that we have packaged our application and deployed it via Intune, we can see here in Intune that it's installed on one machine with this user. After we have tested everything and we can see that logging is working, uninstallation is working, installation is working, everything is just working perfect and smooth, we can go ahead and add our production group here as a required or as an available group here. So this app is ready to rock and roll. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching the video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts. I will be releasing other videos where we will be covering in-depth application packaging for Microsoft Intune. We will be doing log analysis, installation failure, different detection methods, advanced uh, application packaging, how we can have dependencies for packages, and all the good stuff. So don't miss that. I will see you in the next video. Ciao.